Please welcome to the stage USGIF Vice President of Programs, Christy Monaco.
Good morning, everyone. I am Christy Monaco, USGIF's VP of Programs, as you just heard, and I am so honored to welcome you to this year's GEOINT Symposium. It's so terrific to be back in Florida. I grew up just about an hour away near Daytona Beach, so being around palm trees and live oaks laden with Spanish moss, sea breezes, humidity, alligators, that all makes me feel right at home. So thank you all for getting an early start with us today. You're going to be so glad that you did. And you're still going to have some time at the end of the day to enjoy a little bit of sunshine this afternoon before this evening's welcome celebration. How many of you have had a chance to take in some of the local sites? Anyone? Anyone? Good, good, good. Anybody to Disney World? Anyone? Kennedy Center? This crowd, yeah, right? This crowd, I'm sure, is headed to Kennedy Center. Anyone excited about the space launch tomorrow night? 10:34 p.m., I think, if all goes well. And I hear if the weather holds, we're going to be able to see it from right here at the Gaylord. So while we are here at the Gaylord for the next several days, we're going to examine the diverse facets of geospatial intelligence, showcasing its essential role in providing decision advantage at the point and time of need in today's rapidly evolving technological and geopolitical landscape. You know, one of the things that makes GEOINT so essential for decision advantage, in my humble opinion, is that what our community delivers is trusted insight. At our Lundahl-Finney Lifetime Achievement Award ceremony last December, Gilman Louie, who was our 2023 recipient of the Lundahl-Finney Lifetime Achievement Award, noted that the GEOINT community is in the business of, here's his quote, delivering trusted truth the world can depend upon. And that phrase really resonated with me, and I'd like to unpack that for a moment. At first, trusted truth would seem to be a needless pleonasm, or at least that's what my high school English teacher, Mrs. Wilma Graham, would have said at Seabreeze High School just up the road. I would have, of course, had to run to a dictionary to discover that a pleonasm is a linguistic redundancy. But I digress. Because, after all, shouldn't the truth be trustable? On reflection, I realized that Gilman's turn of phrase was a concept quite unique to our time. These days, it seems it's not sufficient for information to be true. It must also be trusted. And as you think about it, isn't the concept of trusted truth very similar to the old Russian proverb, doveryai no proveryai, trust but verify? Now, the Cold Warrior intel types in the crowd here today probably remember that turn of phrase. Anyone? Trust but verify? Yeah? We've all also probably heard the phrase ground truth, which the cartographers among us are going to recognize as a well-established cartographic principle, where data collected remotely are confirmed by measurements made on location. In other words, ground truth is data that is trusted and verified. Now, I'm sure by now you're all wondering why I'm up here musing about the meaning of trust and truth as we embark on our Foreword program this morning. After all, GEOINT Foreword is our science and technology-focused pre-conference, but hang with me on this. In 2023, the last Foreword panel of the day addressed privacy and security in the metaverse. And during that panel, the concept of responsible design and use came up multiple times. One of the main points I took away from that discussion was that in order for users to trust a new technology, the technology had to be built from the outset with user trust in mind. So this year, we've organized our Foreword program around the concept of domain disruptors. Over the course of the day, we'll hear from some of the most brilliant members of the GEOINT community who will address technologies that have the potential to disrupt GEOINT tradecraft. We'll explore how quantum computing may unlock new frontiers in understanding and managing spatial data. We'll consider what's next for positioning, navigation, and timing, and think about how we might build upon GPS to increase resilience, improve accuracy in challenging environments, and enhance coverage in remote areas. We'll look at how generative artificial intelligence models specific to GEOINT, or conversational GPT, GeoGPT, if you will, can enhance the richness and accuracy of conversational AI experiences. And then bracketing the day are two keynote speakers who will contextualize for us how advances in scientific research, development, and technology and operational necessities are pushing our community and our customers to understand the world with greater timeliness, accuracy, and precision than ever before. So, throughout the day, as we consider these domain disruptors, I'd like to challenge you all to think about how we ensure that in approaching the development, use, and dissemination of these powerful new technologies and exquisite data, as practitioners of GEOINT tradecraft, we must also find a way to bake trust into the technology. So it's not enough for us to develop disruptive tech. It's not enough for us to figure out how to use disruptive tech. We must also think critically about the tech early on so we can understand how it might mature and how we must take responsibility for its use. So that is my challenge for you today. Be amazed by and marvel at the capabilities we're going to learn about. And consider how our community must bake trust into the capabilities as we go about maturing them. Because in order for us to continue to dependably deliver GEOINT to warfighters, policymakers, first responders, and yes, even in some cases, the general public, that geospatial truth must be trusted. So, before we begin, there are a few housekeeping items to cover today. Today's program is entirely unclassified and on the record. Turnout is terrific today, so if there's a vacant seat at your table, please make room for another attendee to join you if needed. USGIF staff members are around the room, can direct people to vacant seats if people need help finding them. We're all wearing our USGIF badges today, so you can just find one of our staff. The exhibit hall. We are all so excited to see the exhibit hall. It's going to open tomorrow. Now, our exhibitors are working hard to set up today, so for your own safety, please refrain from trying to get an early peek at the exhibits. I know we're all excited to see them. And to make the most of the next few days, I really recommend, if you haven't done so, that you download the GEOINT app. It's a handy way to map out your plans and to keep track of all the great options available during the show this week. For those who are on social media, we'd love to see you post about Foreword and the symposium. There's a lot to talk about. So if you do post, we would love it if you would tag us using hashtag GEOINT2024. We have a fantastic lineup of speakers for you today, and I know you're going to want to submit questions for them throughout the day. So we're going to be telling you about how to do that shortly. And last but far from least, I'd like to thank Esri, our sponsor for Foreword. They've helped make everything we're about to do today possible, and we're all so grateful for their support. So it is now therefore my honor to invite our MCs for today to the stage. Dr. Tara Mott is an account manager supporting NGA at Esri. Based in St. Louis, she co-chairs USGIF's St. Louis Area Working Group. You'll be hearing more about the great things that our working groups are doing later in the week. Jeff Dawley is based in Washington, D.C., where he serves as Esri's Director of Intelligence Programs, managing business development functions across the IC. And Jeff serves on USGIF's Board of Directors. We're so glad to have these two seasoned GEOINT professionals, who are by now old hands here at GEOINT Forward, guiding us through the program today. This is Tara's 4th time and Jeff's 6th time serving as MC for GEOINT Forward, and as you'll see, they've gotten really good at it. So, please join me in welcoming Tara and Jeff.
Get out the map, and lay your finger anywhere down. Leave the figure into pass on the way down.
Well, thank you, Christy. In addition to the roles Christy mentioned for me, I also have the privilege to teach in my spare time as an adjunct professor at both St. Louis University and at Washington University in St. Louis. And I feel like the Foreword typically helps fulfill one large chunk of my continuing education, because in keeping me current. I learn more here in this one day than I do in a lot of other training. We also hope that you will learn something here today and maybe meet someone new today. And we want to welcome you all, especially those of you from one of the USGIF accredited colleges and universities. And if you hadn't heard, USGIF is welcoming 2 new universities who recently received accreditation for their GEOINT programs, South Dakota State University and the University of Illinois, Urbana-Champaign. Congratulations. And speaking of universities and students, please be sure to check out the posters out in the lobby. We have about 30 posters from 20 different schools that are presenting at this year's symposium. So over to you, Jeff.
Well, thank you, Dr. Mott. My name is Jeff Dawley. I have the privilege of being here representing Esri as the Director of the Intelligence Programs. I'm honored to share the stage with you again, Dr. Mott, here in Orlando. I welcome everyone to the Foreword, sometimes called the Church of GEOINT, on this fine Cinco de Mayo. So we all know you have a lot of choices here in Orlando. The Boy Scout of America convention is here. There's a cheer competition. Of course, there's the House of the Mouse down the street, but this band of GEOINTers is strong. I was also warned to keep the Disney jokes to a minimum, but I thank you all for being here today. Most importantly, I have a very special acknowledgement here today. We all know our fearless CEO of USGIF, Rhonda, is here for her Super Bowl event, but today of all days is also her birthday. So if you can see the daggers in her eyes piercing me right now, I hope we can all wish her a very happy birthday today on the start of this fantastic week. So thank you, Rhonda. So we at Esri are not only honored to be here as strategic partners of USGIF, as well as our titled sponsor for the Foreword, but we're also an exhibitor. So selfish plug, come see us in booth 908 once the Expo Hall opens. Esri is showcasing some of our latest technologies, including in-depth analysis tools, allowing customers to collaborate at scale, as well as to integrate all of your existing enterprise systems. Come join us to see what others can't. Speaking of collaboration, Dr. Mott, I want to emphasize this event is not just about us or the moderators of the panels asking questions. We want to hear from you. Just as Christy said on the screen behind us, please submit your questions for the speakers, for the panelists. Scan the QR code. There's a link. There's a text option. There's all kinds of options there for you up on the stage. But most importantly, how about we get the day started? Tara, can we start this fiesta? Can we start the Foreword now?
Absolutely.
Over
Thank
to
you,
you
Jeff.
to introduce our keynote. Thanks, everybody.
All right.